Okay, Melodious Offal here. We are watching the video Steven Crowder, the Liar. Let's see what it's about.
Trigger warning. It's Thanksgiving, and you know what that means. As you try and enjoy some downtime with your family, you'll undoubtedly... Hey guys, I just wanted to make a video in response to Steven Crowder. This poor attempt at comedy is just him spewing a bunch of bullshit and lies. And I just wanted to have a chance to fact check some of the stuff he says. And of course, I will put the sources and references and
I hate that my voice is kind of similar to
my
this
description. Steven Crowder does not do any research before he makes these claims and starts making these videos. After all, it's your ancestors who committed mass genocide against the Indians. On average, from the 1400s to the 1900s.
Wait. It doesn't even matter what this guy's about to say. The fact of the matter is, most of the Indians died prior to us even meeting them. I mean, when we shook hands with the first couple of them and parted ways, and we just, sat around in our little 13 colonies, most of them died while we were just sitting around. Because that's what happens when people from one continent meet people from another continent, when if they had ever met before, it had been a long fucking time. Our diseases change, the population stratifies, and I mean, come on, you can't expect them to have handled European diseases. You can't expect it. And first off, war is war. It's how we've taken every country ever. It's how anybody in any spot has ever taken that land. You can't find one country that hasn't done that. I mean, you could take the nicest country you could take Sweden. And, come on. They had to displace the Neanderthals, right? Right? Okay. Hell, chimps war. So let's not get on that being horrible. I mean, it sucks and all, but that's how people got any land that anybody has. And, when you lose, you suck it up, okay? You suck it up. And when we go and give you citizenship and shit, stop complaining. Stop complaining. Any genocide there is in the past. Want to hear about another genocide? One you're not supposed to talk about? Well, whites. Our birth rate's crazy low, and they're trying to classify us and throw Iberians in with us. They're trying to say that Caucasians and Spaniards are the same. No, we're a little bit different. We're related. We're very related. Pretty goddamn related. But we're not the same. Our average IQ is a little different. Not fiercely different. It's like 7 points. But anyway, what the hell? Come on. If you want to talk about your genocide, let's talk about mine. Okay? I mean, think about this. If a white guy complains about anything, really, the response to him is, well, go back to Europe. Well, we can't do that. We're losing there, too. I mean, have you heard of the refugee crisis? Have you heard of it? Have you heard of Enoch Powell? Enoch Powell knew this shit was coming, okay? He knew it. He knew it. Okay, back to this.
23,000 Native Americans died every single year. That is well over 9.7 million in the span of 400.
Are those numbers even consistent with the carrying capacity of people that, only did minimal farming? I mean, wasn't most of it foraging, gathering, and hunting? I mean, I know at least with hunting alone, the carrying capacity of land is itty bitty. Itty bitty.
This doesn't include all the horrendous acts that were performed on the Native Americans by the Europeans. This included slavery, torture, and oppression by a foreign government.
Yeah, like how the King of England instituted slavery for the Irish. You know how how us Irish people, I mean, I'm not very Irish, I'm part Irish, but how we were fucked over by the English and put into slavery. You know, you forget about that. Where do black people get that nasty red hair? You know, it doesn't look very good on them. But where'd it come from? Came from the Irish. You know, so you know what? How come they get to appropriate from us? How come they get to do that? I mean, my red beard here is not appropriated. It's my own. Now, why the hell do they get to do that and don't take any flack?
I'm sorry, Native Americans. I'm sorry, indigenous? The ones who do the mouth thing. The hand over mouth thing is pretty racist.
Oh, grow up. Grow up. If I have a stone throwing contest, is it not racist? But if somebody of a different ethnicity than me does that same stone throwing contest because it is a game of my people, that would be racist? No. That might be appropriation, maybe, but it's... Come on, mimicry is not racist. I mean, I'll admit it hurts people who are thin-skinned, but mimicry is not racist. Not for any reason. Come on.
I think that a lot of people would agree with me. Right.
Oh, if you try haggis and you're not Scottish, are you racist? If you raise an Aylesbury duck and you're not Scottish, are you racist? If you have some Met, are you racist because you're not German? I mean, I gotta do it.
To preface this, yes, there were some heinous crimes committed on behalf of the settlers, Europeans, that are unforgivable, and I've benefited as a result with white privilege, blah, 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 but some of the BS needs to be called out. Civilizations clash. That's happened since the beginning of time. Civilizations crash. That happens all the time. Yes, war sucks, but it doesn't give the right to leftist teachers, social justice warriors to lie about a non-existent horseback culture, peaceful Native American who was taken out by smallpox blankets and painted with colors of the wind. How? So before you dummies hang that dream catcher from your rear view mirror, that's another problem we'll talk about. Are you planning to fall asleep at the wheel? You're a jackass.
This, Stacey Williams is just too stupid for words. I mean, come on. Oh.
I don't care if you do have a dream catcher in your car, you fall asleep at the wheel with 2 tons of steel, glass, and gasoline behind you, it's going to be a bad dream. No one wakes up from that refreshed. This guy probably has one of the worst jokes that I've ever heard any alt-right commentator have. But it's time to put your...
You stupid fuck. Steven Crowder is not alt-right. Not in the least. I mean, maybe Paleocon? Maybe? He's conservative, okay? He's never once talked about a white ethno-state. Or even a 100% white town. I mean, come on, I'm all right. I would like enough freedom of association such that if I wanted to, I could buy a town and fill it with white people. Okay, what's the problem? You could do that with towns with black people, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody would ever say it's racist. So, why can't I do that? I mean, why do I have to look over hell and high water to find a place that is like that? I mean, what place is like that but Irvine, Kentucky? I mean, I remember there was one black guy there. But most places are not like that. Not like that. Anyway, Steven Crowder is not alt-right. Are you thinking of that time they put a picture of him on Fashion the Nation? That was a joke. That's called a joke.
surgical mask on like Japanese do in the face of SARS because you're about to smell some sacred cows being burned.
This idiot doesn't know that cows came from Europe, and it's actually people who practice Hinduism who worship the sacred cow. I'm pretty sure that he...
Sacred cow is an expression, you dumbass. It's an expression. Do you complain about where pigs come from when you talk about them flying?
believes that it's Native Americans who worship cows.
Let's debunk some of the most common, politically correct Thanksgiving myths.
A lot of the things he says in this video is a myth, and it's really just pure irony.
Some of the Redskin tribes were the most brutal in existence. Some of them practiced enslavement, rape, cannibalism. They would sometimes...
All true. All true, they did those things. There was no fucking noble savage. If there was, the non-noble savages ate them.
Target women and children. For example, the Comanches would butcher babies and roast people alive.
And so did thousands of white people in Europe. They burned witches because of the name of their lord. It's obvious that Stephen...
Oh, come on, the witch burning again. Now let's cut the Catholic Christian Church, whatever, a little bit of slack with this one. When we get into modern days and we find out that the blood of the young being placed into an older animal actually causes revivification, then you know what? Suddenly some of the shit they were saying about witches eating babies there might have been something to it. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't the odd ones that just accused of it, but once we found out that imbibing babies could actually do that, you should update your info. You should update. I can't remember what the process is called. It's already been tested. It's been tested in mice, and in some treatments, it's even been tested on people. Not specifically for that purpose, but anyway, we have had those tissues injected into us. We do know what it does. So let's not even kid around about this. Sacrificing babies is bad. They thought witches were sacrificing babies, and maybe some of them were. Okay? Maybe some of them were.
Crowder is trying to belittle the effects of colonization, even though millions upon millions of people died. He's trying to...
The effects of colonization. Every place we went, we took their drafty buildings and put up buildings that aren't drafty. Okay, we took their dirty water and gave them clean water. Now, we took their crappy mortality rate and their amazing birth rate, and we left the birth rate high, and we cut down that mortality rate. So, now suddenly there's a whole lot more of those fucks. Now, come on, colonialism was... As bad as it may have been, in some ways, it wrought a hell of a lot of good. It wrought a hell of a lot of good.
Act like Europeans liberated Native Americans with the use of Christianity.
And where do you think we learned?
Okay, are we going to forget that there are some Native American tribes that for some reason believed in Jesus before we came? I mean, they called him like the pierced savior or something. And isn't there some ancient tale of King Solomon having stitched together some variety of balloon and having actually been there? I mean, come on. We're getting mad because we gave them a concrete religion where prior to that they only had animism. We know how animism does, okay? I mean, it is much better to think of God as some kind of anthropomorphic being, because then you have pride in yourself. You don't want to fuck up and do something shameful with this form that also God has. But if God is just a spirit of the world inside every animal and cracker, and stone and everything, and bread and everything else, then you know what? You don't have that same pride. It's just not there.
Learned the fine art of scalping.
But Father, what's that Indian doing?
No, we mustn't say Indian.
This shit is not funny. It's not like me being biased about what he's saying. It's not fucking funny. It's just shitty acting. Fuck you.
Myth! Native Americans.
So you have nothing to say about the scalping was real, and you're mad about somebody making a joke about. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's like somebody calling the death penalty retroactive abortion. Nobody says, oh, that's not funny. That's not funny. It's fine. It's fine.
Americans were an advanced society. Truth. Not even close. Smell that? It's your sacred cow and it's already extra well done.
My God, are you this stupid? It doesn't matter. That's a Hindu thing. It's an Egyptian thing too. God damn it. And it's an overall pagan thing too, at least from a Christian or Jewish mindset. You know, Moses came down one side of the mountain. You could argue maybe he came down the wrong side of the mountain, but he came down one side of the mountain and saw people worshiping a bull. Now, my thought is he went down the wrong side of the mountain and he ended up in some land with some people more akin to Hindus, and that he actually just thought they were his people. But then again, that could be painting him as kind of stupid. Anyway, whatever. Let's get off this sacred cow thing. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's an expression. Because Native Americans hardly worshipped anything. They were mostly animist, except for the ones that worshipped the pure Savior. And animism, just it's not a good ideology. It's not a good ideology. It's the equivalent to environmentalism. You know, it's stupid.
Don't worry, I scalped her first and made the other cows watch. Unlike ancient Rome, Greece, China, or really any other advanced empire that had existed long before we came here with the Native Americans, they didn't have any kind of advanced plumbing, transportation, mathematics, or really anything that's led to you watching this right now on your iPhone.
Native Americans had a lot of different things to do with mathematics and astronomy. The Mayan calendar is one of the most accurate.
Come on. They're not exactly the same people you're talking about here. And I mean, I'm not going to even dignify a system of math which would have been mainly used to count how many hearts they'd cut out that day. And once again, the freaking long dead cultures that were only building on top of these wondrous ruins with this neat math and shit, that were only building on top of that crap. You do not get to call the accomplishments of people that came way fucking before them as their accomplishments. If America gets wiped out by a neutron bomb and there's no people left and people come and build New York 20 feet taller, you don't get to credit them with the first 600 feet of building. You don't get to credit them with that.
Calendars to this day. Steven Crowder said that Native Americans didn't do anything to enhance modern technology. It's funny because Steven Crowder is a Christian, and back then Christians hated technology and science. Actually, Christians are...
You're stupid. You are stupid. Every once in a while you had a bad pope. But, fuck. Even the pope, way before it was popular to do so, admitted that this earth was a sphere. Okay, most people don't know that. People actually figured out the whole Earth was round thing pretty goddamn long ago. Now, about it moving around the sun, that took them a little while longer. But even then, come on. Come on. Oh, stupid. You're just a stupid guy. You're taking myths about Christianity. Christianity caused one of the greatest flourishings of science there ever was, because people thought that God was revealing extra bits of how the world worked. You know, extra bits that he didn't put in the Bible. I mean, so scientists, they thought of themselves like prophets or priests or something. Now, you're talking about fucking fundamentalism. You know, even way back, those people were so weird, they had to build communes. They had to leave countries and go start other countries. They were weirdos. They were weirdos.
One of the real reasons why technology took so long to advance.
That whole beautiful horseback Indian culture you read about, it's a lie. They hadn't even domesticated horses. Not only that,
Yeah, they used dogs. They really hadn't domesticated a horse. They used dogs.
they didn't use the wheel. No, really. 1400 AD, no wheel.
I think that Native Americans were pretty smart and intelligent with the environment that they had around them. And also...
No, you're talking relativism now. No, unless you're really in the fucking ice and snow, come on, there's no advantage that a sled has over a wheel. I mean, just fucking put wheels on your sled and you got a wagon.
social structures and how they ran things politically. The reason why Native Americans didn't domesticate...
How they ran things politically. Okay, you gained political power by counting coup. By, you know, fucking being an idiot running into the enemy tribe's place and grabbing a feather off some guy's headdress, or however the fuck that went. Or no, I think it was you're supposed to poke them while they were asleep and then run off, you know, without a weapon or not. Now, that's kind of like ding-dong ditching. So, that could be fun. But I mean, come on, let's not praise their society. That's not their politics or whatever. There's nothing to be praised. Okay, they called their women dogs. They had their women carry the fucking tools and the weapons and everything. Everything except for, a spear, which a man would carry because he needed it immediately. But come on, they called women dogs specifically because they were supposed to take most of the burden. They were supposed to do most of the work. Because the man was supposed to be always ready to do the fighting or whatever.
Horses is because they weren't even in America yet. Europeans brought them over. And if you didn't have any fucking horses...
No. There were equines. They're called burros. It's called a fucking donkey. And hell, donkeys are stronger than horses, okay? They live longer, they're tougher. You don't have to shoe them. Now, if they weren't using donkeys, that's their own goddamn fault. It's their own fault.
Horses, how the fuck would you be able to use a wheel? Native Americans actually did have many forms of transportation.
They used dogs. Couldn't they have put a wheel on their dog sled thing?
Were using boats and also using dogs and other animals.
I know that...
A canoe. It's kind of neat how they build them, you wouldn't think of building something that way, but come on, it's not advanced transportation. You could get somewhere as fast riding a log.
This one's not a moral argument. The point is, when you're that far behind, the clash of civilizations is that much worse when the wheel-using New World catches up to you. Myth. The settlers deliberately infected Native Americans with smallpox blankets to wipe them out. Truth! Only idiots could believe this.
Intentional biological warfare was in fact used on Native Americans by Europeans. Stephen Crowder is such an idiot, he doesn't want to do any research into his videos. A video done by Representative Press explains exactly how smallpox were used intentionally.
Actually, I recall a research paper that found that smallpox could not even be viable. It couldn't be viable left on a blanket. Maybe if a person died on the blanket and bled all over it, okay? But come on. If you're gonna take a blanket filled with blood, that's one thing. I think people were forgetting that the whole smallpox blanket was a fictional account. It was a fictional account.
Native Americans.
Here's the actual communication. You're looking at a picture of the letter where they conspired to use germ warfare in order to exterminate Native Americans. They uncovered these letters where they actually plot biological warfare in order to exterminate Native Americans.
And that was a hoax.
Amherst first raised the possibility of giving the Indians infected.
Listen, when they take some fucking blankets and test this shit out and then find it does not work, you have to conclude that was a hoax. Not to mention, there's some dubious things about these letters, too.
Blankets in a letter to Colonel Henry Bouquet, who would lead reinforcements to Fort Pitt. Bouquet discussed the matter in a postscript to a letter to Amherst on July 13, 1763. Here's a smoking gun. P.S. I would try to inoculate the Indians by means of blankets that may fall in their hands, taking care, however, not to get the disease myself, as it is a pity to oppose good men against them. I wish we could make use of this Spaniard's method and hunt them with English dogs, supported by rangers and some light horse, who I think would effectively extirpate or remove that vermin. Extirpate, exterminate, by giving them disease.
I will definitely put his video in the description or an annotation, but the main fact is that Stephen Crowder is a fucking liar. It took me one Google search to find this document.
Think about this for a second. You believe that
One Google search done by the hands of an idiot.
Europeans waged microbial biological warfare years before discovery, mass acceptance, or even acknowledgement of advanced germ theory.
You need to shut the fuck up!
You can search high and low for legitimate historical accounts of smallpox blankets being mass pajamagrammed to peaceful Native Americans, but you won't find it. However, there is some truth to the myth, which brings me to my next point. Myth! Europeans deliberately committed mass genocide, wiping out every last native for sport.
Stephen Crowder could do one Google search and find that he's talking straight out of his asshole. Colonists were literally paid £50 for scalps of men, women, and children from the European government.
Truth! Nope. This brings back in our last point. It is estimated that as high as 95% of Native Americans were actually taken out by diseases. Why? Because Europeans brought with them new diseases to which the natives weren't immune, not only...
Wait, they were scalping us. You know, they were scalping us. There's that rumor the French started it, but come on, they were scalping us. So some retaliatory scalping, nobody's gonna complain about that.
themselves, but with animals with which the Native Americans had no contact with, because again, they hadn't yet domesticated horses. Again, not judging just because of the lack of advancement as a society. No horse...
And yes, they hadn't domesticated horses because horses weren't even in North America. And once again, yes,
donkeys!
Biological warfare. It's a
Donkeys! Why weren't they using donkeys?
Sure, there were plenty of bloody, horrendous, unimaginable conflicts that did occur, and when dealing with a more barbaric society and new settlers, generally speaking in warfare, the guys with the boom-boom sticks win. This isn't exclusive to America, and it's not all uncommon. But Europeans weren't hell-bent on destroying every single last indigenous person. As a a matter of fact, they were encouraged to reach out to them and try and bring them into the culture and convert them to Christianity.
When he says convert them to Christianity, you guys should research residential school. It's something that was enforced on the First Nations people of Canada. It's been called a cultural genocide.
Plus, intermarrying was incredible.
Oh my god. Come on, yes, schooling can cause cultural genocides. Not going to debate that one, but stop. We were talking about America. We were talking about America. Now, if you're Canadian and you're actually talking about Canadian things, please stay on that one fucking subject.
Probably common. How else do you explain Angelina Jolie, Johnny Depp, Kid Cudi, and even imaginary Elizabeth Warren claiming to be 1/16th Cherokee?
I think Steven Crowder has intermarrying and rape confused.
In summation, killing is bad, but so...
Let's see. So it's an entirely modern phenomenon that when a woman sees an exotic man, that he's more attractive, so there could not have been any marriages even during a time when you could buy brides and they wanted to be bought because that was like their little girl dream, to have a rich man come and buy them, even preferably a rich blonde-haired blue-eyed man, because that's what they thought the gods looked like. I mean, come on, you're going to say there was no attraction there. None whatsoever, so it must have all been rape. Just look into this issue. If Europeans were very into raping, the statistics would bear that out in modern days. We do the least amount of interracial rape. The least. So either we forgot how to do it, or bullshit.
Was milking, misleading, and guilting future generations for crimes they never committed.
Woo! Steven Crowder has it locked down. That's totally the same equivalence.
Yes, Europeans conquered the Native Americans, instituted a constitutional republic, and advanced in a mere couple centuries what Native Americans weren't able to do for thousands of years beforehand.
Yes, like being shoved onto reservations and also being stripped of their democratic right up until the 50s.
We could have not shoved them onto reservations, in which case they would have completely lost their culture, and they weren't having that, okay? They weren't having that. They went for the reservations. Just like I would. If Islam comes over and takes over, if I lose the war, then you know what? I'm going to take the fucking reservation because I'll be happy with a little white town instead of no white town. Okay? And I think the Native Americans are the same in that respect. They'd rather have a little Native American town than no Native American town.
Yes, it was violent, but once contact has been made, you can't go back. If today we never came here, they saw a plane, guess what? It's gonna start some So turn off this smartphone, go enjoy some turkey with your family, and be sure to tell your social justice warrior